Hey ladies, thanks for joining me today. If you're new to my channel, my name is Mitzi and I'm a paper girly. And if you're a returner, well, welcome back. Okay, girls, it is June 1st today. It is June 1st, so we are kicking off the Girlfriend's Guide to Journaling movie edition. So all of the quotes and prompts are going to be revolving around movies. And gals, if you came to my live stream on Sunday, then you know that we are just kind of putting this together. It is just a, seat of my pants type of situation, but I am ready. I'm ready with day one. And so girls, we are starting out with an oldie but a goodie, one that I think all of us gals saw back in the day, and that is Pretty in Pink. So let's get started with the quote, and then we will get to the journal prompts, and then I'm going to do a craft. I'm going to do a craft that themes around Pretty in Pink today. So I have my notes down here, so I'm going to grab those real quick. So the quote for today, let me find my book. Here it goes. I have it over here. I made this. I showed it off in the live stream yesterday. I made this little notebook using a DVD cover to put some notes in this month. Okay, so the quote for today is by Andy, and this is when she was getting ready, when she was ready to go off to the prom. And she had that conversation with her dad about going to the prom and going to the prom solo. And back in the day, you did not go to the prom solo. I know that kids do it now. They go in groups as friends, but back in the day, in the 80s, I'm going to say that was just something that we didn't do. If you weren't invited, if you're a girl and you weren't invited by a guy, you were not going to the prom. So this was kind of out there for that time. So the quote from Andy is, "I just want to let them know that they didn't break me." So girls, this movie, what can I say about this movie is that it had an impact. It has an impact for so many of us gals because it really kind of was around identity. It was around identity, about learning our identity as we were, coming of age. It was a great love story. And yeah, in the background of the movie, and a lot of John Hughes movies dealt with it, it was also themed around class systems. And we all know Andy was from one side of the tracks and Blaine was from the other side of the tracks. And so that was an underlying theme of the movie. And of course, there was Ducky. And who could forget Ducky? John Cryer, that was a iconic role for him. And this was really I think it might have been my introduction to Molly Ringwald. So this was a big movie for me, and I think from all of the comments here in the YouTube, the comments on the live stream yesterday, I think it was a big movie for a lot of us gals. So let's get to the prompts. The prompts that I have, I thought that it might be fun to use. You know me, I love a theme. I'm going to theme these out for the main characters. The main characters on the, let me show you. The main characters on the movie poster. We have Andy, we have Blaine, and we have Ducky. So I have 3 different prompts that kind of theme around those 3 characters. So the first prompt is, the first prompt is Andy, and I have 2. So the first prompt for Andy Walsh, Molly Ringwald, is on identity and style. We're calling this the signature look. Andy famously repurposed a thrifted vintage dress to create a one-of-a-kind prom dress. So the question is, what is a piece of clothing or accessory that makes you feel uniquely you? And then describe how you style it to stand out in a crowd. So that is the first one. The second one deals with embracing your weirdness, okay? So Andy's eclectic boss, Iona, taught her to embrace being a misfit rather than blending in. So the question here is, what are some of your quirks or hobbies that you used to hide but now celebrate as your biggest strengths? So those are the Andy Walsh prompts. And then the next prompt is themed around Blaine. And oh my goodness, ladies, Andrew McCarthy, I mean, could we get any yummier back then? Oh gosh, I had a huge crush on him. But anyway, the next one is about Blaine. So we all know that Blaine, yeah, he liked Andy, and he seemed like a sweet kid. He seemed like a sweet kid with a really jerky best friend, you know? I mean, James Spader, could he be any jerkier as Steph? I mean, come on. And then I watch those movies now, and I think, oh my gosh, these were supposed to be high school kids. Those were full-grown men. Those were not high school kids. But anyway, I'm getting on a side tangent. So the next one revolves around Blaine and social class. So this one it's calling Define Expectations. So wealthy, popular Blaine had to step out of his comfort zone to break societal expectations. So the question here is, or the prompt is, think about a time you surprised yourself or others by letting go of a preconceived judgment about someone else. Now, gosh, I mean, was I sympathetic to Blaine back then? No, because I mean, I was just wanting a great love story. But now, as I'm older and wiser, am I more sympathetic to Blaine? Yeah, I am. Because, yeah, there was a lot of pressure in high school. There was a lot of pressure in high school to, be friends with certain people, to, date the right person, all of that. So, I kind of got it then. I super now get it now. But gosh, was there a moment there where I was just like, dang it, Blaine, get it together. She deserves better than this. Yeah, I think we all have that feeling. We all have that feeling in that movie. So that is the second prompt. Now the third prompt is kind of themed around Ducky a little bit, but it's also, it's themed around soundtracks. It's themed around soundtracks because remember Andy she had the job at Trax, and then there was that whole big scene at Trax with her, with Iona, with Ducky. I mean, it was just a great scene there while they were waiting for Blaine to show up. And it's all about, working in this record store. So this last one, I think, is just purely fun. It's just purely fun. And we're calling this the killer soundtrack. So an iconic 80s movie like Pretty in Pink is all about, the Instagram love, the drama, and, the killer playlists. So this prompt for you is simply create a 3-song soundtrack for your current life chapter today. What songs are on it and why? So, girls, those are the prompts. If all you wanted was a little bit of my jibber jabber and the prompts, then have a great day. I hope that we will see you back here tomorrow. For the rest of you, well, we will continue on. We will continue on because I also wanted to kind of highlight the movie Some Kind of Wonderful, because gals, Some Kind of Wonderful came out the year after Pretty in Pink, and I might have even liked it better. But now when I think of it, they're actually basically the same movie, only flippity flopped. Meaning instead of it being a girl from the other side of the tracks, it is a boy from the other side of the tracks. It has Eric Stoltz, it has Mary Stuart Masterson, and Leah Thompson in it. If you have not seen it, but you kind of like the vibe of the Pretty in Pink, the 80s movie back then I would say go check it out. Go check it out because I really like this movie. And again, it is a John Hughes film. And like I said, John Hughes films always kind of have underlying deeper messages to them. A lot of them deal with class. A lot of them deal with social issues. And I think that's why they really hit for us who were teenagers back then, is because he really wrote from the standpoint of understanding the whole dynamic of what it was like to be a teen back in the day. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm going to head into the crafty part. because I was thinking that it would be fun to do crafts, since this is Paper Girly Studio. And I had said before that we put in the hard work last month with the first edition, getting intimate, getting really deep down, figuring ourselves out so that we could have fun here in June. So that is going to be, besides the element of that we are doing all this themed around 80s movies, I want to do some crafting. And I thought, let's come up with a craft that deals with this movie, Pretty in Pink. And so we talked about, in that first prompt, we talked about the prom dress. And so, girls, I might have gone off yesterday in my live stream yesterday about it, but I did have, kind of an aha moment, because that dress, while it wasn't, it wasn't an awful prom dress, it was not the prom dress that I thought she was going to make. It was not the prom dress that I envisioned in my head as they did the whole montage of her making it. No, girl, it wasn't. However, was it fitting to her character? Taking, vintage clothing, taking a thrifted store dress and making it uniquely hers. And she was quirky and artsy and all of that. Yeah, I was well reminded that yes, it did go with her character. However, was I thrilled with it? No, I wasn't. So this is the craft that we're going to do today, is I am going to challenge you to make a prom dress. Now, I'm not talking about getting at your sewing machine, grabbing fabric, all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about just doing it your own way, whether it is making a drawing in your notebook, whether it is making something to glue in your notebook, make your dream prom dress, make a prom dress. So that is how we are theming this little craft. So I am going to, I'm making 3 prom dresses. I'm making 3 prom dresses with, my Sizzix, because I just, I love my Sizzix, and I have this little die cut that I thought would work perfectly for this. So I'm going to just hop on over and start doing that and let you follow along. And then I'll be back to just kind of wrap it up. Okay, be right back. Okay, girls, so I decided that I'm going to make some cards. I'm going to make some cards to send in some happy mail and then maybe glue inside my notebook. I just took white paper, I folded it over, I put a black background on it because I am going to make these 3 dresses. I'm going to make these 3 dresses with my pink paper, Pretty in Pink. I'm going to add maybe a little bit of bling, and it's just going to be super duper fun and cute. Okay, gals, so if you are new to the world of die cut, this is a die cut machine. This happens to be the Sizzix die cut machine. However, girls, there are all different variations at different price points. But this is basically what you do. You put down a piece of paper, you put down a metal die cut, which is basically just like a metal cookie cutter, and you run it through. You just run it through a couple of times, and then look at this. Check this out. It just cuts it out. It just cuts it out, and look at all that detail. Look how fun that is. So this is my first prom dress. And like I said, I am just going to cut out some dresses from different various pink paper, and then I'm going to glue them on these cards. And it is going to be that simple, that easy. So here we go. We have another one. We put down the paper. We just run it through the machine. We run it forward. You run it backwards, and it cuts it out. So Sizzix, I was going to say Sizzix machine, but die cut machines in general are just a lot of fun. And it is just another way to do paper crafting. And I got into this, I want to say maybe 6-7 months ago, I got into die cutting. And I found this at my local paper store. But like I previously mentioned, there are all different variations. So in the description of this video, I will have the link to this machine, the one that I have, but I will also put down links for alternatives that are cheaper, because this one is at a higher price point. But girls, to be honest, it's a higher price point because of the name brand. They all basically do the same big thing, because this is, look how simple this is. It is literally just taking the pressure of the top and the bottom, squeezing this metal onto the paper in order to cut it. And then the die cuts, you can get them from various craft stores. You can get them at your local Michael's or your Hobby Lobby. You can get them, of course, on Amazon. And then you can also get them at places like Temu and Shein, you know, all the various little places, little online internet shops out there. So then you just take them off like this. These are all the little bows and all the little pieces just in case I want them. I don't know if I'm going to use them, but I always cut them out just in case I decide that I want to use them. I take my little pin and you just, you know, push out through these little holes when it sticks in there. And it just comes out just like that. And then you have a nice little bow. You have the little waistbands, you have a smaller bow, and it's just an easy way to decorate a card. To decorate a card, to make an easy paper craft. Like I'm always saying here, I am not super duper, you know, artistic. I'll just like making crafts. I like making crafts like this. Now this one, I'm going to just make a couple hangers. Again, I don't know if I'm going to use the hangers, but because, you know, I just use scrap paper. This is a great machine to have to use up scrap paper. I just cut out various little this and that. So now I have all of my pieces cut out. And so now it is literally just about, you know, gluing it on the paper. Let me take this out of here so that there's not a glare on here. So yeah, so this is a set that I got off of, gosh, I don't even remember where I got it from, girls. It's been a while. But then I just am taking my little dresses, my little prom dresses, and I'm going to stick it on the paper. I use my Barely Art glue. I love this glue. I'm always yapping about this glue, and it's because it has the fine tip on it so that I can just put a little bit of glue on it and then use my tweezers, flip it over, put it on my card. So it gives you a little bit of wiggle room in order to kind of, you know, smush it around. It does dry clear, so any extra mess up there, I know it's going to dry clear. So there is my first prom dress card. And then, wait a second. That is too high, so I won't use it there. So I will use one of these little hangers on one of these little cards. I've got to decide, do I want to put a bow on it? It's kind of like putting together a paper doll. That's why I love making these little dresses with this die cut machine. I don't know if I want the big one, or maybe I'll just do the little one. So yeah, I think I'll put the little one there. So girls, this is what I'm doing for my craft. So girls, if you are new to my channel here for the first time, then I would love it if you would like and subscribe so you can come back and continue on this Girlfriend's Guide to Journaling movie edition month of June. This is what we're going to be doing all month. We're just going to be doing some journal quotes, some journal prompts, and some crafts that have to theme around journal. Oh goodness, I put that on upside down. Well, gosh, you know what? I'm just going to cut this. I'm going to cut this to glue down in my journal. And could I cut this part out? I could cut this part out, but guess what? I'm not going to. Oh gosh. I'm having issues here. I'm not going to cut this out because I think it is important for me to show that, guess what? When it comes to crafting, sometimes you mess up, and I messed up pretty big here. I need to get a new, what do you call it, blade for that cutter, for that paper cutter. So I'm just going to use my scissors. And again, when it comes to crafting, yes, do I have all the machines, all the doodads? Yes, I do. However, when it comes to crafting, my suggestion is basically use what you got, girls. Use what you have, because it is about just being creative, or just taking the time to sit down and make a craft. And like I said before, I am not real creative. I see things that I like, and then I try to duplicate it in my own way. I'm doing it the paper girly way. And gosh, girls, I just layer the papers. I just decide, do I want a waistband? Do I not want a waistband? It's just all about making something fun, making something cute and pretty, the way that I like it. And I enjoy myself. And that's what crafting is all about. It is about the process of crafting. Now, goodness, do we want it to turn out perfect? Yeah, of course I do. But does it turn out perfect? Hardly ever. Hardly ever. A lot of times I just have to kind of go with the flow. Go with the flow. I'm trying to be better at being, not such a perfectionist. But you know what? I'm not going to do that. I think I'm going to use this bow because that's cuter. I'm trying to get better at that. But yeah, do I have those days where, gosh, it totally falls apart on me and I start all over again? Of course I do. Of course I do. So that is the bow on that one. I have 2 really cute prom dresses so far, pink prom dresses to go along with the theme. And then this last one. This last one is a polka dot one. And I have some plans for this girl. I have some plans for this one that I thought would be real fun. And this one I'm going to actually use the hanger on because I cut out these hangers and it is kind of, fun to put them on hangers. And this dress actually works out perfectly. I have used these die cuts before, so I know how these work for the most part. It's just about whether I get them on the paper where I want them. And goodness, I just think they're so cute. And so I will use a couple of these and mail them off as Happy Mail. And then the other one I will just put down in my notebook. I will glue down in my notebook to remind me of the theme of Pretty in Pink. So I have these little diamonds, these little doodads, and I thought, you know what? This would be a good time or a good opportunity for me to try them out. Now I am new to sticking these little things on, and these do not have sticky backs like stickers. So I'm going to attempt this. I'm going to attempt to get these down on these dresses, and we'll just go with it. We'll just go for it, and we will see how it works. So I was thinking of just using the glue to pick them up. Now I have these nails on, and gosh, I need to make them shorter because I'm having issues trying to do this at all. So we're going to try to get this on here. And yes, this glue dries clear. So even if you see a little bit of glue on here, oh gosh, that is not working right. Let me see. Let me just put glue on the actual paper and see if I can somehow maneuver this onto my paper. Gosh, girls, help a girl out. Let me know in the comments if you know how to get these little gemstones down on paper in an easier way. Is there a little, I'm envisioning a little maybe rubber sticky thing that maybe picks them up, something like that. I feel like I've seen that around. These tweezers and my nails on my fingers, they are not really working real well for me. So, okay, well, let's see, where do I want? Let's just put it right here. So I'm going to put a big glob of glue there, and yeah, this Barely Art glue, it does dry clear. So even though there's a big glob it on there, it should dry clear to where we just see the little sparkly. We will see. So gals, if you're still here with me, then I am assuming that you're here with me because you love the community aspect of my channel, that you like watching me, I'm going to say, just kind of fuss my way through a craft project, that you like listening to me yammer, all of that. So if you are new to my channel and you are enjoying what I'm doing here, the way that I'm doing it, then I also want to invite you over to our Facebook group, because gals, over in the Facebook group, we have over 300 women that are just there for community. It is a place for us to be able to kind of have a two-way conversation, because we all add to that conversation over there. Here, I can come on, I can make these videos. Over there, we can have community. So here, I'm just putting some little dots on this dress because I am going to use some glitter. So I'm going to take some glitter, just pour it on there. I'm kind of sloppy, but this is how I do it. I'm going to grab myself some paper, pour it off there, and then look, we have some little gold polka dots. So over there, I think that girls are going to be showing off their pretty in pink prom dresses. And so it is fun. It is fun to have that community over there. So there are my prom dresses. So that is my craft here today for the pretty in pink. So I hope that you enjoyed watching me struggle through this, and we will then come back, do a little wrap up, and be done for the day. Okay, gals, I will be right back. Okay, so I'm back. My cards turned out so cute. The glue did dry clear, and there they are. And these are the ones that I'm going to mail out as Happy Mail. And then I have the one that I kind of made the oopsie on, so I had to cut it off. Could I use it as a card still? Yeah, but I think I'm actually going to use this to glue down in my notebook, just as a reminder of today and this project that we made today. So let's get to the prompts. So the prompts are, themed out as per usual. The first ones are under Andy Walsh, old Molly Ringwald's character. And the first one is the signature look. What is a piece of clothing or accessory that makes you feel uniquely you? And then describe how you style it to stand out in a crowd. And then the second one is embracing your weirdness. And it is kind of themed around Andy's a relationship with her boss, Iona. It was a really cute relationship, I thought. And she was quirky. Iona was quirky. And she, I want to say that she really fostered Andy in embracing her quirkiness. So this one is, what are some of your quirks or hobbies that you used to hide but now celebrate as your biggest strengths? So that is the second journal prompt. The third journal prompt comes from Blaine, themes around Blaine, and it is under define expectations. And this is just a thought for you to ponder if you want to write on this one. So think about a time you surprised yourself or others by letting go of preconceived judgment about someone else. Now, Blaine, he had to do that. And did he do it smoothly? No, he didn't. He did not do it smoothly at all. But did he finally come around and really let go of some of those preconceived judgments that he had? Those judgments that old Steph really was like, really judgy about. Yeah, he did. And then the third prompt, we are theming under Ducky. We are theming under Ducky just because, I just like that Ducky character. The best friend, the unrequited love, that sometimes when you have a best friend, that they feel that. So this one is called the Killer Soundtrack, and this is super, super duper fun. So if anything else, do this one. Create a 3-song soundtrack for your current life chapter. What songs are on it and why? So those are the journal prompts for today, and I just want to wrap this up with one last quote. And actually this quote comes from the other movie that I touched base on here, that if you haven't seen it, Some Kind of Wonderful, and you enjoyed Pretty in Pink, then I really highly, highly recommend going out there and watching Some Kind of Wonderful. Because while we had Andy, Blaine, and Ducky in Some Kind of Wonderful, we have Keith, Amanda, and Watts. Watts is basically the Ducky, Keith is the Andy, and Amanda is the Blaine. And it is kind of a flippity flop. It still has to do with societal classes. It still has to do with finding your value and really leaning into learning about your value, what you are willing to accept. It is about yearning for something that possibly is out of the wheelhouse of what you're used to. It is also about unrequited love. The best friend, kind of having feelings for the best friend. So I'm not giving any spoilers away there because, like I said, it is kind of a flippity flop of Pretty in Pink. So the quote that I want to finish this off with is from Amanda. And that is kind of the Blaine character. And is it a little bit different than Pretty in Pink? Yeah, it is. But it is it is a John Hughes film, so it is very John Hughes-esque. And so this is the quote from Amanda. And gosh, do I want to say how this comes up? If you haven't seen it, maybe not. Just take it as, what it is. And then if you haven't seen the movie, go back and watch the movie. So Amanda says at the end, remember how I said I'd rather be with someone for the wrong reason than alone for the right ones? I'd rather be right. It's going to feel good to stand on my own. So again, these movies both kind of focus around the central idea of class, unrequited love, and the courage to just really stay true to who you are. So that is, besides it being one of my favorite movies, that's why I thought that this would be a good kickoff to this month, June, the movie edition of the Girlfriend's Guide to Journaling, because last month we put in the work to really get to know ourselves. And so, hey, I just want to say thank you for having the courage to stay true to who you are. Okay, gals, thanks for joining me today. Until next time, from one paper girly to another.